Hey everyone, it's Daphne from Scrap and Create. Right now I'm going to give you a quick tip or tutorial on how to clean the cap of your art glitter glue. I love this cap and it's lasted me a long time, and what I make a practice of doing is every time I change out the bottle I go ahead and clean my cap. So I'm going to walk you through all the components and how to clean it. Now I craft quite a bit, so I get some buildup in here, and you can see there's some on the tip. So as I'm working, I like to wipe and keep that clean, but over time there is some buildup beneath that needs to be cleaned out. The other thing that gets built up is on the inside of the cap itself. Glue will build up toward the end of the this pen. So occasionally I will take my owl, and you can see the glue I just got out, and spin it around in there to try to get any of the excess glue. And why does that matter? Well, if there's glue in the very bottom of this, that means that this can't seat completely down and create that airtight seal that you're looking for to keep your glue in good shape. So I work it around and try to pull out any of the excess off with the tip of the owl, and then if I have any trouble, occasionally I'll poke my tweezers in there and I'll pull and see if I can't get any glue to come out. And see, there's a glob right there. So I just keep working that. I do it when it's in this state where it's semi-dry, because some of it will stick to itself and help me actually get it out. And then when I get it to a reasonable state, this whole thing goes into a glass of water to soak. And then I will rinse it thoroughly, and that will pull out the remaining bits of glue. See, there's another big lump of glue. So this takes a little time, so you have to kind of spin it around, and what you're doing is you're scraping the sides off carefully and then just pulling out any glue that that is loosened through that process. Okay, and when you feel like you've got just about all of it picked out manually, then you want to soak the whole thing and rinse it thoroughly. Okay, and it's just it's a little time consuming, but it'll keep your tip in great shape, and they really do last a long time if you take care of them. Okay, so that's the cap, and I think I've got all the loose stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and drop it in my water. So the next pieces are, and you should have, and I didn't bring one in here, on standby, a Ziploc bag to place your bottle in, so that you're minimizing the contact with the air. And since I didn't bring one in, at least for the moment, I'm just going to apply this piece of paper to keep the air out. So everything else we're going to do is with this cap. Okay, so this is the piece that actually attaches to your glue bottle. You can unscrew the blue from the white, and this isn't always easy. Sometimes I have to go get a tool from the kitchen to help me get a grip on it. But this is underneath the blue cap, and I'm using my scissor handles, but they're not helping. Underneath the blue cap is another piece that needs to be cleaned. There we go. All right, so you can see there's some glue accumulated under there. All right. So this just needs to be, I like to scrape out the excess first, because if it's dried on, it might come out in one piece. And then soak it. And I should have brought a paper towel in here. That would be a good thing too. So I'm just running through the track of the cap, pulling out excess glue. And when I feel like I've got most of it out, I'm going to drop the whole thing in the water to soak. Okay. That's most of it. It's kind of messy. Okay. So now you've got this, and there's still one more piece that comes off. It's the tip itself. There's some little grooves on here, and it actually makes it pretty easy to grip, but you want to take that and twist it, and this whole tip comes off like so. Okay, this is where you get some buildup, and if you get too much buildup in there, when it's screwed on, it starts to want to come out of places other than the tip. So it's a good idea to keep this relatively clean. This can go into the cup of water. That's usually the cleanest piece. In here, I try to dig out anything that might be dry. And then I drop this in the bucket and let it soak. All of these elements will soak for a little while, and then I will stir them around and rinse them thoroughly. And then when you are done with that, you just reassemble it, pretty much reverse what I just did. And it's really important that all your components are dry. If they're not dry, when you turn your bottle of glue over, it's going to come running out just like water. So make sure they're very dry when you put it back together. One way is to let it sit overnight. The other way is hit it with a heat gun, and that'll warm it up. So that's just my quick tips on how to take care of your glue tip and keep it in good functioning condition for a very long time. I've had this one over a year, and I make, you know, 2, sometimes 3 mini albums a month, so it can last quite a long time. I have worn one tip out, and I blame myself. I probably wasn't taking good enough care of the tip. So again, the way I remind myself to do it is when I go to replace my glue, it's time to clean your tip. For me, that works because I go through so much glue. For you, you may not go through your bottle for a year, so I would recommend cleaning a little more frequently than that. So anyways, that's Daphne from Scrap and Create. Just wanted to share a quick tip with you guys. I'm going to continue to work on these brief tip videos, and we'll have a playlist called Tips, Tools, and Techniques for you guys to check out. This will be my 3rd one. I've got one there for bookbinding, one for how to calculate your spine and add pages if you want to modify an album. And then the next quick one I'm going to do is going to be around paper grain and what it is, why it happens, and why it matters. So that'll be my next video. I probably won't get it out before the Grand Hotel, but it is coming. Thanks everybody for tuning in. This is Daphne for Scrap and Create. Good night.